Hey, what's going on, guys? Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Much appreciated. Means a lot to me. If you guys could subscribe to the Tobin and Leroy show, I'm doing this here from the QAM studios. Check it on out. WQAM, you guys can watch us up on YouTube every single weekday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'll be boots on the ground tomorrow for the 8-seed play-in game, which will take on the Chicago Bulls, who beat the Toronto Raptors. They came back to beat the Raptors, and a team that the Heat have not been able to topple. In fact, look, the year could start with the Chicago Bulls, could end with the Chicago Bulls going into this one. And it is fascinating. It was interesting. I was reading some of the tweets from practice from Ira Winderman during the show today, and I was like, I don't like any of the things that are coming out here. Gabe Vincent hurt going into tomorrow, but he should be able to play. Jimmy Butler wasn't at practice. Didn't love that. Had personal reasons. Hope everything's okay with Jimmy Butler. I'm just saying, the idea that Jimmy Butler didn't practice the day before the game wasn't thrilled to read that Jimmy wasn't able to practice with the team. Again, hope everything's okay, but just as a cohesive standpoint, working some things out, two of your starters being out of practice, not ideal. Then on top of that, I had Bam Adebayo, who apparently had said something to the effect of, we know they like to pack the paint, and that it should be a big assist game, which, I haven't watched the video of it. I don't know exactly the context of it, but knowing that Bam the other day was talking about the idea of getting him the ball, and now he's talking about big assist game, I can't imagine that's going to be one where the Heat fans are going to be too thrilled. Kyle didn't want to talk to the media, even though he's going to be taking on his good friend DeMar DeRozan, and Spo is hinting that there may be some rotational changes, which is probably the most interesting thing substantively is the most interesting thing out of anything, right? Who cares about, other than, the hell, but who cares about, some silly comments here and there. But Spo saying that there could be some rotational changes. It's a do or die game. This is not like the last game against the Atlanta Hawks, which, as an aside, can I just say, Trae Young saying that Jimmy Butler guaranteed a win when he didn't guarantee a win. Very strange. I know they don't have it doesn't feel like the greatest relationship in the world. There's a little bit of frostiness for sure on both ends of that, especially from Trae's side. But I was crazed when I was reading, from some of the stations that we have around here, and it was yeah, Jimmy. I'm like, he did. I didn't hear that. I I even went back to it because I don't remember it. Then I went back and listened to his press conference again today, and I was like, is this saying we get a dub? That's a guarantee. I mean, the stakes have been lowered, I would say, but whatever. Erik Spoelstra said, quote, we know the stakes, we know the consequences. We put ourselves, and he did say something to the effect of, they're going to regroup, put their arms around each other, and he said, we got to do it the hard way. That was Spo's quote. Tyler actually echoed that. He says, we put ourselves in a position, so like Spo said, we'll do it the hard way. And that is what Spo said. I asked him about that afterwards, after the loss to the Atlanta Hawks, and he told the room, he's like, listen, we're going to do this the hard way, which isn't ideal. You wish they would do it an easier way. You wish that it wasn't a year that was always the hard way. And I really don't know what to expect, to be honest with you. I would really hope that they do actually put an emphasis on getting Bam the basketball. This is an interesting thing because it's funny how much Bam, his career can echo Chris Bosh's, and in the sacrifice of things and doing the little things and then immediately getting all the blame if things go wrong. It's funny like that. I think that, you would say Baby Bosh is a little bit more of a polished offensive game. Certainly that beautiful jump shot that he had and turned it into a 3-point shot, but also was kind of the anchor of that defense in a lot of ways. And allowed the other guys to go be piranhas and go after guys on the wing. But it's funny how much those guys' careers seem to echo each other, and they did have a good relationship. That a kind of a big bro little bro thing back when Chris was around more, and he's always kind of appreciated Bam and everything that goes underappreciated with him. But it's interesting noticing that Bam got a brunt of the criticism after this game, and I'm not saying he had a good game, but I just think that people always seem to have this thought of him that he's a soft player, he's not aggressive, and all these things. And while there are some things that I think that he does go up or down confidence-wise offensively, to say a guy who's one of the best defenders in the league and goes around and has to consistently bang with guys that are much bigger than him, stop Joel Embiid, stop Giannis Antetokounmpo, to put the moniker of soft on a guy like that is wildly stupid. That being said, I do think that it would be prudent for the Heat to maybe go in this game and start things off and give Bam looks early. You know, that was a thing with Chris Bosh from time to time. You could always just tell, like, if Chris got forgotten a little bit, Spo would make it an emphasis to get him the basketball and, you know, just to get him in a little bit of a comfort zone to get going. So we'll see if that's something they go. As far as the rotational changes are concerned, that's going to be an interesting one because it was such a weird rotation this last game, you know? Like, you had Kevin Love get 3 minutes, so he was kind of rats off a ship his first big. Then he went to Cody Zeller, didn't really play him, so he didn't really trust any center to play with him. They've been starting Max Strus. Do they go in a position where Kevin Love is starting again? Or is he going to start Kyle Lowry again? I feel like that's going to be one of the moves is going to be one of those guys. I don't know if both, but I feel like maybe one of the guys will start the game, especially if Gabe Vincent's a little bit banged up. Kyle Lowry starting feels like the place they're going to go just because he is feeling it a little bit. He has been playing better. They have been ramping up. So if I had to guess, I would say Kyle is probably going to start. If that is the big switch tomorrow, putting Gabe on the bench, maybe being a menace, coming off the bench and seeing really who has the shot going, who is confident for Miami going into this thing. That'll be an interesting thing. Also, you got to watch out for DeMar DeRozan's screaming daughter, which if she's there, I don't know, but you know, look, it's one of these games that I know that there are Heat fans who are like, well, I just want it to end tomorrow. I want my misery to be over. I'm not in that camp. I want to see this one. I do want to see the Heat in the playoffs. I think if this year, if you go from shot for the NBA Finals to not making a playoff series, I find that to be, I find a level of embarrassment in that. I do. And I know that people will say, Tobin, who cares, dude? Just let's get ping pong balls. I'm just not of that ilk. I don't want to go in that because it's going to end up being a middle of the road pick anyway. You'll end up getting your pick. Even if you get bounced early, you'll get a pick in that scope. They're probably going to end up trading it anyway for somebody. If it ends up getting bounced in the first round, they're going to end up trading that pick anyway, no matter what it ends up being. You're not getting Wembanyama. Let's be real about it. That's not going to happen. So yeah, I'm not in that scope of I want to go out there and I want to tank. Like I want to forget this one. No, I'm just not there. I can't be. But certainly a challenge. I mean, like, look, Chicago's been really good defensively. In a way, I almost feel like that could play to the Heat's strength because they haven't been playing good defensively. So maybe this gets them to a place where they have to grind one out and they have to have almost a dogfight going into this one. And that'll be one of these things where, you know, the attitude's brought right away. And, you know, look, there are plenty of interesting things here between the DeRozan Lowry factor, Jimmy Butler taking on the team that drafted him, you know, all of these things that kind of get thrown into the blender. But, yeah, I'm still going into tomorrow hoping the Heat come out of this with a playoff series. And this ending up with the Heat at least qualifying for the postseason. Because if this goes from you were a shot away from the NBA Finals to not even making the postseason, God, I find that to be an embarrassing one. Like even saying that out loud, the reality of that pisses me off. So if you're gonna go through all of this, and it was, you know, all these tight games, all the yammering that has been this year, for Christ's sakes, at least make the playoffs.